I'm in distress.
Oh no. Hello. I'm gonna have to edit that bumps out. Hello and welcome to what were we calling this?
I don't know. One
I
offs?
don't. Oh, one offs. Yeah, except this is more like seven offs or six offs.
Many offs.
Many offs. A super long edition because we watched a bunch of movies that we're gonna be talking about today. Full spoilers. So if you haven't seen them, we'll take them each. I'll either release it in chunks or I'll put notes when each section we're talking about is.
By the way, this is Lost Ghost Flower.
This Lasco sound.
I sound very sad because I am. And also, I'm sounding like a robot, so I don't know when that's gonna change.
It's been a topsy-turvy set of emotions for you.
Roller coaster.
So we watched Frozen 2.
Are you watching in order?
No, I'm just off my
listing?
memory, yeah.
Okay. Frozen 2, The
The
Gray,
Gray,
Four
Four
Brothers,
Brothers,
Ford versus Ferrari,
Ferrari,
A
Beautiful
Beautiful Day
Day-
in the Neighborhood, Queen and Slim, and
those six.
which one?
Those are the six we watched.
No, I feel like there's one I'm missing. What was the one of Queen and Slim? Queen and Slim, Beautiful Day.
And
Oh, No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. There we go.
There you
was
go.
one more.
Yeah, I was like, there's one more.
All right, so just at the very top.
Let's start where the movies I really enjoyed.
Go from your least
tier?
favorite to favorite.
Oh, my least
Go
favorite?
from top to bottom.
You mean from
Bottom to top. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Bottom from the movies we watched. No Country for Old Men. That one was. Go ahead, do it. Oh, he got some on me.
Sorry.
Gross.
We'll go into each one, but just kind of go through your list.
Yeah. Do I describe why it's at my
Mm-mm.
bottom? No? Okay. So, No Country for Old Men is at my bottom. Is at the bottom for me. I want to say A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood just because it was boring. I was falling asleep towards some parts, but I also enjoyed some parts because I felt like I could tell Mr. Rogers everything and just unleash this whole everything.
Yeah.
So that one's, I guess, second to the bottom. I wish I had a list in front of me of all the movies we had seen. Let's see. Ford versus Ferrari would probably be next. And then maybe Four Brothers. Am I missing one? Missing a couple. And then Queen and Slim, The Gray, and no, not The Gray. Frozen 2, and then The Gray.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go. The Gray's
Queen
number
and
one.
Slim ended up in your top three.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing a movie. See what I mean? This is why I wish I had a list. I'm gonna take out my phone and just.
So there's 7 movies.
Yeah. Let me.
Uh,
I'm just gonna write it down in my notes so I know.
Frozen.
Oh no, I'm gonna go. Well, let's see. Go from my top. So let's go. The Gray for me.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Oh no,
2.
I must have. Did I hit the mic? Yeah, I hit the mic right there.
Frozen 2, Queen, and Slim. What did I say?
Oh.
Did I say Four Brothers? Was that the one I'm missing? Maybe. The Gray, Frozen 2, and Queen and Slim.
Four Brothers.
No, yeah, Four Brothers.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ferrari. Neighborhood. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all of them.
And then the last one, No Country for Old Men. No, for Old Men. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, my list is a little different, not by much. Bottom for me would probably be Four Brothers. Then I'll do Beautiful Day. Ford. Then the top Oh, wait. No, where did I put Old Country for Old Men?
You haven't said it.
Actually, I would put Ford above No Country. Then I would do probably Frozen 2, Queen and Slim, and Grey at number 1.
Somewhat similar.
Yeah. But let's start with the one we'll probably have the least to say, which is No Country.
Oh.
I enjoyed a lot of the cinematography and a lot of the moments that the characters have.
Yeah. That's the thing. I enjoyed it, you know. It felt like it was going to be a great chase scene, and it kind of was
Yeah,
at one point.
when it's because the movie's up until maybe the last 20-ish minutes, it's the one man running away with the money and trying to eventually meet up with his wife and mother-in-law.
Yes,
And Tommy Lee Jones kind of plays a role. He's old officer.
Oh.
And he's kind of the narrator. And the movie's almost perfectly explained at the end when he's having a conversation with another person, both with the other agent after the other guy who found the money and was running away is found killed by what's presumed a drug gang.
Drug cartels.
Yeah, and which was really unfortunate, but because it looked like it was a bloody scene. They probably just caught him off guard at the end there.
I don't know. I felt like there was just some unnecessary characters added onto the chase. I felt like it should have really just been between the dude and the one dude with the long hair with the oxygen tank thing.
Yeah.
It was nice when it was just them two, but then the Mexicans, because they were Mexicans, got involved, and they eventually found him and killed him and took the money and ran away. And I get it. That's basically how it starts. He does find the drug money at a shootout that went wrong.
Yeah.
But I just was really disappointed. I didn't care about the sheriff at all. I felt like
I liked the sheriff because I
felt like he was unnecessary because he was supposed to be working on the case, but
at that point not. Oh no!
I dropped my phone.
At that point, not really, because he was the feds were involved.
No, I know, but I just felt like there was no more necessity for him anymore, because it's like, okay, the FBI got it now, so it's more moved on from him to someone else. And again, with the Mexicans, when that one dude brought in and just gave out more information of where to find the money, and he gave it to the Mexicans, and oh god, the stupid mother-in-law talking to strangers. Don't talk to strangers, people.
Yeah.
And then because of her, that's how the Mexicans found him, and then they killed him.
Yeah, but I think the movie is kind of summed up with those two conversations that he has with that other police officer or agent after the death of the main character at that point, and with his friend and wife, where as a whole, even with the title of the movie, I feel like it's trying to get the point across where the country's not made for older people, where as we get older we think the world's getting worse and worse, but the truth is the world's always been bad and kind of shitty. We're just more aware of it as we get older.
I feel like you read too deep into it. I don't know. That's just me.
That's basically what he's talking about when he has a conversation with his wife and about his dream. And
you mean the serial killer?
No, the cop. Tommy
Lee
Jones, yes. When he's talking to his wife and when he's talking to the other officer and when he's talking to his friend. It's kind of like, in different ways, the same message and the same, dialogue they're having back and forth.
See, I didn't care about that at all.
Yeah.
Because I was like, for me, he just never had a purpose.
But that was his purpose.
Well, for me, like I told you, his purpose had run out after this became a whole bigger deal, and it was no longer in his county, in his state, and it was literally
True, but I feel like you're looking at it too literally.
Out of the country and everything. It's just, for me, it was just like, I get it. It was a dude who wandered into the wrong place, the wrong time, and all this money, who kept making the worst mistakes ever. Like how you said, you would have definitely ditched the briefcase.
Oh yeah, definitely ditch your briefcase.
Like changed the money into a different bag or item.
Ditch the briefcase, check the money.
Yeah, and he didn't do that. He took it everywhere he went. He just wasn't smart about it.
He was not.
And the other dude, the serial killer with the oxygen
he was crazy.
He was cool.
He definitely killed that guy's wife.
Oh yeah, he was cool, you know, and he was pretty good at hunting for it. He didn't care who died or anything. He did give people some chances, like the one dude in the store who was like, "Call it."
Yeah.
He was lucky, but I like their like I guess conversation over the phone. I just didn't care about the extra people that weren't necessary.
I definitely I'm happy I watched it. I enjoyed it. But
I didn't like the ending.
Next movie, let's do, what do you say, Four Brothers?
Four Brothers with the Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
The Heyo guy.
Hey y'all guy? From Outcast? Yes.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know the younger actor, and then a guy who was in the Fast and Furious movies.
And then there's Taraji, and then Sofia Vergara.
But they were kind of smaller characters.
Give them the spotlight too. They deserve it.
Overall, it's a fun movie. It's not one of those amazing movies I think anyone will ever go back to and reminisce about. But there's stuff to enjoy in that movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like one of those, like, oh, you see that's like the movies on Netflix. You look at it and you're like, oh, this could be interesting.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
they're just like, let's just watch it just cause. Yeah. It's not one of those movies like, oh my god, let's watch this.
No Country for Old Men. Out of 10, what would you give it?
Which one?
No Country for Old Men.
Oh, out of what, 10?
Yeah.
I don't like the ending. I'll give it a 6.
I would.
It was average. It was above average.
I would 7 it. Strong 7.
Strong 7. I was gonna say 7, but I was like, no, I hate.
And then I don't really have too much to say about Four Brothers. I would.
Four Brothers is just basically about literally four brothers trying to get revenge on
after the death of their mother, their adoptive mother.
Oh yeah, because they're all adopted brothers.
Yeah. I would 6 it. It's definitely something. It's like, oh, this is on Netflix. I might check it out one day.
Yeah, I think I'll put a 7. Except you didn't tell me that my favorite character would die.
Oh yeah, spoilers. But you were warned at the beginning.
Yes, you were warned at the beginning. He was my favorite. He was the best one, and he died.
Oh no.
I'm glad the one boss dude was fucking thrown into an ice lake. He deserved
that. Beautiful Day next.
Okay, Beautiful Day, Tom Hanks.
You were definitely when it first got announced because you didn't have any kind of connection to.
No. I never watched Mr. Rogers'
Neighborhood.
Yeah.
I had some because I definitely did watch it as a kid, and I think what the movie does the best is kind of how he was personified, where he really was wanting to. The point of his show, he kind of, in a sense, just wanted to teach young kids and people
how to cope with their emotions.
Better ways, because when the reporter's interviewing him and talking about that, he does cover these dark subjects over the periods of time that his show aired,
war, death, all that.
And his shoe, and he tried his best in really intelligent ways to be able to put this on the level that a child can understand that, hey, there's this, not necessarily this specific thing is happening here, but this is something that's a possibility, and it's okay to feel a way about it, and just it's how you choose how you act on those feelings.
Yeah. It felt weird, not gonna lie, watching it, because it did feel like I was watching a kid show.
Yeah.
But once we got past that, like those scenes where it made it seem like you were watching the TV, Tom Hanks, I think, played it really well.
Yeah.
At one point, it did make me feel like, man, I wish I could talk to him.
Yeah.
Because I could unleash so much, and I felt like I could really talk to him. And there were times that I was really bored.
Because it's not. it's not like a biopic, so it doesn't have the interest of you learning about it, the entirety of his life in the
Oh no,
show.
yeah,
It's more about
the
the story of
interaction,
this his interaction with the reporter.
the journalist. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
that was fine.
journalist.
It was just I think towards the end where it just started like
Yeah,
getting what's the word? It was just
maybe dragging. It was
there you
kind
go.
of
Yeah,
going on a
it
little
was
long. And it
dragging
was
on.
2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah,
And man, it's really unfortunate because it's one of those things where watching it when I grew up, oh, I loved the little like the
Daniel,
no
the puppet, Daniel.
yeah, the puppet.
The one that wants to meet
Oh
the
yeah,
dog?
he was my favorite because he's so sensitive.
Yeah, his
He was
name
my
was
favorite
Daniel.
puppet. It's been so long, but
Those puppets were creepy though, for real.
yeah, they've
I was
had
like,
the
damn.
test of time.
Yeah, you can tell they were old, but I feel like that made it even better.
Yeah, and watching that movie kind of made me sad. Like, man, if it gave me two thoughts at the same time. Where it's like, a part of me wonders if Mister Rogers was alive today, that if he would be kind of saddened of the state of the world in our country,
I think so.
and that even if that was the case, I still think he would be trying
So
to
hard.
find a way to do his best to bring people together and make them talk.
Talk about their feelings instead of bottling it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that all the time.
Yeah, he's one of those interesting people that once you start, that you can start a Google search and just go down this rabbit hole of learning about his life, because he's this guy that a lot of people did say he was.
A saint.
Yeah, but he was a guy who, if I remember correctly, if it was a Gulf War, he fought in the war, and he had his own struggles, but just watching.
He just took it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Overall, the movie itself, I think I would give it, a 7
I
as
would
well.
7 it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see if there's a biopic about him, or a biography, or any kind of
Just something actually
documentary
dedicated to
about
his
him.
life.
Yeah, because that'd be really interesting to watch. Kind of like I was mentioning that speech he gave to Congress about why publicly funded television and educational television is so important to the country as a whole.
Yeah.
But
I thought that's what the movie was going to be about, but then it wasn't exactly what it was, because I thought at the end of the movie it would say like, oh, some like interesting facts.
like kind of like a text crawl.
Yeah, you like how when we watched the movie on Freedom Writers on Netflix, how at the end it'll say like, oh, she went on to be with her kids at university and stuff like something like that. But when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, that's pretty.
Let's see, what do we have left? We have 4 left.
Yeah.
Ford
versus Ferrari.
I enjoyed Ford.
I did not want to see this movie. Because
even more than
thought,
A Beautiful Day.
Yeah, even more than
because you're just like cars, vroom.
Basically, I thought it was just going to be another like Fast and Furious, and I have never seen all of the Fast and Furious movies just because I think they're dumb.
Oh, they're incredibly dumb, but
and that's what I thought this movie was going to be about. But no, this one actually had plot. This one actually had like meaning and shit. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's based on the true story between the Ford Motor Company and Shelby, who went on to make some of the most famous cars, and even now some of the most expensive and sought after cars.
All I want to say is that Ken Miles was cheated from that victory. I was so pissed off when he didn't win.
I continuously am fascinated by how much I enjoy watching Matt Damon in movies.
He just plays them so well, like the DiCaprios.
Yeah, and Christian Bale did a fantastic job in this movie.
He did, because he made me cry.
Like, watching their interaction, their chemistry on screen.
It's really well.
Yeah.
It felt like they were, like, good friends forever.
I love that scene when they're fighting.
Oh, in the very beginning? With the trunk?
No. When they're actually fighting on the grass and the groceries go everywhere and they're hitting each other with the bread.
And the wife goes out and
the wife
puts
comes
out
up
a
and is
chair.
like, did you want a drink? And he's like, yes. And he's like,
no
drink for him.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed Ford.
I did too. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
And then at the end, you see it coming.
The foreshadowing. See, my dumbass didn't think that one part in the movie would actually happen, where the kid asked Shelby's
they
friend, he was like,
trick you.
yeah, he was like,
Because they have an accident and they
have you
get him
ever
out.
been in an accident where the car's on fire? And he was like, no, but he was like, you know, he got out, and then he was like, sometimes they don't get out. And I should have, you know, remembered that later on, until at the very end, after the winnings and everything and the racing, they start testing new cars, and then he crashes and catches on fire, and he doesn't get out of the car, and then he dies. I was so mad. And then he comes back to Ken's home and, you know, tries to give the wrench, but he couldn't do it. And then he meets his friend's kid. And I was like, ah, damn it. I cried.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really great.
I would too. It's 3 hours long, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's the one that was 3 hours. That's why I wanted to see it, the last one. Or was it 2 hours?
No, it was like 2.5, I think.
Close to 3. Almost close to 3. I think that's why I wanted to see it last.
Really good.
Yes,
I would
it's
ate
really
it.
good. Well, I feel like if I ate it, it's one of those I would see again. But I probably won't see it again.
Well, I don't know that I would watch it again right away, but I would.
I mean, eventually I would see it again. Just, you know. I don't know. I'm still so pissed off because Ford was dirty.
No,
know?
not Ford.
The people.
That motherfucker. That one motherfucker.
Yeah, but the owner, Henry Ford II, he was a little baby bitch about it too. He was trying to live up to his dad's legacy, and he couldn't.
Oh, my phone was vibrating.
And that's why he was all
stuff.
mad. He was all mad. So, no, fuck Ford. Okay, Ken should have won. He really should have won.
You know?
Because of him, they wouldn't, you know, have won at all. Ferrari would have won. But anyways, I guess I would give it, you know what, an 8. It deserves 7.5. Can't do it.
So, what do we have left?
Left.
Okay,
we have Queen and Slim, Frozen 2, and The Grey.
I want to save, I think, Grey and Queen last.
Okay, so Frozen 2.
Is that cool with you?
That's fine.
Alright. I did not expect the 80s power ballad. And if you haven't seen it, for whatever weird reason, they released it early on Disney Plus. So.
Oh, yeah, so if you have Disney Plus, go see it. It came out last Sunday.
But there's like... What I don't know. I was listening to the soundtrack at work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because the one song that Elsa does,
Into the Unknown.
Yes.
The unknown.
Where it starts with that one.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
But I won't.
That's a great song.
Yeah, that's why
Like,
it was
all the
over...
songs in the movie are great. Olaf's song,
Which
so
one?
good. The when he's scared, but everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, when all the changes are going, he's
Yeah.
like, I'll know once I'm older or something.
And with all the creepy like wolf eyes in the background.
All this danger around
Yeah,
him, basically.
and he's just like la-di-da, and I was like, oh no.
I think my favorite song was Anna's in the cave after Elsa, you know, supposedly died.
Yeah.
That one was my favorite just because it felt so relatable and strong, and I feel like it was better than Into the Unknown. But then again, I have to listen to all the songs because I only watched
the power
ones.
ballad.
The power ballad of Kristoff and Sven was amazing. When it was playing, I started laughing so
like,
hard because I was not expecting it.
Yeah, I was like, man, someone on set really loves the 80s.
The 80s are coming back. The fashion, the music.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The movie definitely, it just stops at one point. Like, after they get into the forest, they clip along at a fast pace. They're like, we need to get to the next scene. It does not matter how or why we get to that scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's just gonna happen.
It moved fast. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not like the fact that Elsa was the fifth spirit. I thought there was gonna be someone
Even
else.
then, it's not entirely clear why she's the fifth spirit, if she is.
Because it felt like, well, does that mean that her parents... Because her parents created her, you know? So did they have that magical spiritness inside them? I don't know.
And I like the how they're each the bridge between the two...
The twin, like the
two
sisters?
people, yeah.
Arendelle and
But
Nathondra.
I think the movie's plot overall is definitely a lot weaker.
Yeah,
but
I just feel like something was missing.
I think the songs are better.
Oh yeah,
and
the
more
songs were better.
complex.
Olaf was definitely the
Olaf
best
is
character.
the best part of this movie.
He makes this
when
movie.
he's explaining the plot of the
Frozen?
first movie
Yes.
to them and the guards getting all into, he's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, he was
It's
the
so
lieutenant.
good. Yes.
Yes. But like I said, I felt like it was something missing. I wanted it to be where Elsa meets this other person who has, you know, powers like herself, like another human, not like an entity, like the water horse.
You love the lizard though.
The lizard was cute. Lizard was cute. Okay. He doesn't have a name though, which makes me sad. And I wanted him and Pascal to meet because I feel like they'd be great. Also, when their mom's people refer to themselves as the sun people, I just got a bunch of Tangle vibes because their whole symbol is the sun. You know, that whole movie basically is about the sun and Rapunzel's golden hair and the golden flower because it shines like
weird.
the sun.
It's definitely weak plot wise, but it's so enjoyable.
Yeah, I got like the pillars, you know, that show the
and
four
the kids,
elements.
The animated...
I thought of Brave because of the, you know, the pillars that she has.
Oh, the little Baymax cameo in the beginning.
Oh yeah, and the snow that they're making.
That little kid versions of them are just so adorable.
Oh yeah, my dad, when we watched the first Frozen movie, he thought they were so adorable. When they were kids, he was like, "That's how you were," and I was like, "Oh, nice." I did find it like refreshing seeing Anna and Kristoff have like those off moments that couples have.
Yeah, they definitely. Oh, you mean
the miscommunications?
I love, yeah. And he's
you
like,
know?
"What? No."
And also when
We've
they got
definitely
into
had
a
those.
fight where it's like, "Oh, she left me," you know, when he
Yeah.
was abandoned and stuff. I enjoy that because it made it seem more real, you know, instead of all like, "Oh, we're falling in love, everything's good," you know, happiness. But no, they had problems.
I'm like, is Disney making a roadhead joke here?
Oh, when they were in the sled and
Yeah.
Elsa was asleep.
And they're like, "What do you want to do now?" And I was like, "Whoa,
That
what?"
part definitely felt really adult-like.
Like,
I was
yo,
like, "Oh,
it's
damn."
for the parents.
Yes.
But I would 8 it.
I would 9 it.
Yeah.
I think it was
I just
better
can't
than
I
Frozen.
can't 9 it with that plot. No,
I'm saying it was better than Frozen, but it
I
definitely
think Frozen's
had holes.
plot, the original Frozen 1's plot, is much stronger.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. But
It was a
enjoyed Frozen
coherent
2
story
more.
from beginning to end, but there's just so much to enjoy in Frozen 2.
Okay, but Frozen 2 had better songs, I think, and there's just better scenes. Though I do wish that she had more interaction with the Earth element.
Yeah,
You
with
know,
the golems.
The golems were cool, you know?
Yeah.
But they didn't really do much. They slept
But
and they
that's
were
fair.
scary.
That's fair if you want to give it a 9. Okay, so which do we want to talk about first?
Okay, so Queen and Slim
I
and the
will
Gray.
let you decide.
Both made me cry.
Yes.
Both I hate.
You love
And I
them,
blame
but you
you
hate it.
because you knew what
Yeah,
was going to
I
go
knew
down with
in
both of them.
I did not warn you or prepare you in the slightest.
All right, okay, I'm going to save the Gray last because
That's fair.
That one got me way more emotional and had so much anxiety.
So
Queen and Slim.
there's a lot I love about this movie, and there's like 2 or 3 very specific things I do not like that they chose how they did it.
Oh, also we literally just finished watching
Yeah,
Queen
like
and
maybe.
Slim. So
How long have we been recording? Right
don't know.
before we started recording, so like 20 minutes ago.
yeah, so it's all fresh in the mind. So go ahead. What was what you were saying?
I love, especially the second time watching it now, I love how much they call back to each other. How it starts essentially as the date that it's not going well. It's not a great date. It's not a shitty one, but it's definitely not like they'll probably ever see each other again.
Oh no, she just wanted a warm body.
No, not like
A
that
warm
sounds
body.
weird.
And what I'm saying, like someone
She wanted
to interact with.
companion.
Yeah,
yes, she
companionship.
wanted human interaction.
Yeah, because she doesn't have friends and she doesn't care about her family. Well, you know.
What's left of it, but
Yeah.
and it's a journey of these two people being put in this situation.
Basically, two strangers.
Yeah, and then them getting to know each other, and there's just such, like, as a love story for the part of the movie that it is, that it's done really well, where you see their growth with each other, from like when he changes the way he eats by the time they're eating together with the older man and woman in Florida.
Oh,
The way
yeah.
he's chewing like super quietly with his mouth closed.
She's less defensive.
And the way she even like quotes him when they're talking to the kid, where when he says he wants to be immortal, and she quotes him when she says, you know, if your family remembers you, that's all.
Yeah.
Like there's just little things where
You can
they're
see that they're
so
rubbing off on
different
each
kinds
other.
of people, where they just start to very slowly over the course of, you know, I say the movie takes place over 3-4 days maybe.
Well, 6 days. It was a 6-day manhunt.
Oh, was it? So about a week, where
Yeah.
these people grow to respect each other and genuinely, you know, have love for each other.
Yeah, it was definitely a fast paced romance because they had no time to
And that definitely does happen
care
in,
about
you know,
anything.
high stress scenarios, and even in normal scenarios, people grow together very quickly. That
Even quicker with this like this just situation that they were in, being on the run, going to different states.
yeah, from the way they were like snapping at each other during the first day or two to when they're talking about music after they get her uncle's car, and they learn about each other.
About her mom, her
Yeah.
uncle. Mostly more about her because he was more about believing in God, and he does have
And
a family
he
and
was
friends.
more open in general,
Yeah.
so she learned a lot about him more.
She was just more the
Yeah.
defensive type. I thought she was gorgeous. She was so tall. She was
Yeah.
pretty. He is so pretty, and I wish I knew the actor's name, but he does such a good job in any like character he plays. I always love his character.
Yeah, he started out in Black Mirror, an episode of Black Mirror.
Oh, really?
I think it was one of his first big things.
Oh, well, he was really
And
good.
then he did
Get Out.
and that blew up. And then he was also in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, he's in 2 or 3 other things, I think.
I don't know.
I just don't remember them off the top of my head, but
Overall, when the initial incident happened, I was like, why is this cop being such a dick, you know? And he's being a dick to be a dick on purpose. You know, he really had no reason. He just...
his initial reason to pull over was valid. You know, he saw them swerve,
that was reasonable. You know, they swerved only because of her. Because
But he's
he tried to
definitely
get her
being
phone.
you know, aggressive for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like the fact that it was like, oh, possible DUI when he was like talking to.
That's a
his
fair
man.
assumption if you see
I
a car
guess.
swerve like that, and you know it's late at night. That's not too far of
Okay, you're fair. You're fair.
stretch in logic.
Okay, what I didn't like is that he told him to pop the hood. And like in my mind I was like, he needs a warrant for that, you know?
Yeah,
there
but
was
then
no
once he
viable
agreed-
reason. I know, which is why I
Yeah.
was pissed off. I'm like, don't agree.
He
But then
definitely
again,
escalated the situation by pulling out his gun because he had no cause to arrest him.
no, he just did it just to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And I get it, you know, he was trying to comply and he did. That was good. But she wasn't liking it. She was an attorney.
Yeah, because she's a lawyer, so she knows.
She knows, but
Yeah.
it's like dangerous for colored people because one wrong step and it's like, you know, their life is gone.
Yeah, and the movie definitely has a message to say, regardless of how it's trying to get it across. Overall, I think it does a good job. I love the shots when it's just them driving and the music they choose to play to kind of... And I don't know how much you were aware, because there's a lot of tense scenes, like when when he goes to try to stick the gas station up, but then the guy's like, pay for the gas, you let me hold it.
Oh, the glove.
And I thought that was kind of a tense scene when he's pointing at him, because I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of crazy.
I didn't get any anxiety from this movie.
What about when he noticed when
the sheriff?
Sheriff.
No anxiety, just cause I felt like it was too early in the film for them to get caught.
Yeah.
Too early, so I wasn't worried about that. The one, like the little white dude, a cashier, him, I was like, this dude's crazy.
Yeah.
But I also felt like he wasn't gonna like straight up kill him, because again, the plot would be gone.
Yeah.
I just didn't get any anxiety from this movie at all. I was more sad towards the end after this whole journey.
At the end,
So
they
many
do a great
people.
job of like foreshadowing what's about to happen, because he's driving them, but the music that playing isn't like, it's not like a somber thing. It's not an uplifting
No,
thing.
it's
It's
like
like
a-
this weird drum beat where it's like they're being marched off to their death, and he even offers them to his weed, like their last smoke. So it's like they're very.
It's just like the very end, you know, like the final step to freedom.
And the movie even gives you that false hope where you see the plane, you see the engine start and the propeller.
I fell into that.
You're like, oh yay, and then you see the cars blurred out in the back. The sirens.
I was like, oh my god, of course. And I just felt like no. And then they just stood there and she held his hand. I was like, oh my god.
And there's just a lot of nice moments where there's footage of them driving and they have audio playing where it's the conversations they had about when they're opening up to each other, and it's like really serene audio of them talking, like being just as honest as you can be to someone when you think you don't have any other choice about yourself. And just bit by bit how each conversation they have they open up more and more. And then, man, just at the end when they're holding each other and they're talking, and the trailer, it does you so dirty, because in the trailer they have that audio clip where it's literally the last like conversation they ever have in the movie is in the trailer.
So where, will you be my legacy?
Yeah.
She's like, yes. Or I already am. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they end the trailer in general, and I'm like, oh, you dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then she gets shot because the white dumb fucking bitch cop shoots, and I'm like, you had no reason to shoot. Like, no reason. And she shot her, and then she died.
And the audio is just so sudden, and it's just like the way they balance audio is real nice. Whoever did a great job, where you hear them yelling and the sirens, but it's like
that's not his main concern.
It's like when two people are talking and they're tuning everything out, that all you see, and then you get that loud pop.
Yeah. When he picked her up, though, I was like, oh my god.
I love those last bits of dialogue that they have with each other.
Their final words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then their funeral, which was like so good because a lot of people showed up. The hurt, you can see the hurt in the uncle's eyes.
Yeah. He was like, damn. Almost.
And all his women too, when they found out in the news. Like the one with the curly hair, she started crying. And I was like, oh no. I'm crying right now.
Oh, I know. I really enjoyed this movie overall. I did not, for a movie who I felt had a message that they were trying to, in a way, I wouldn't say it's the most, and I don't think movies always have any kind of obligation to, but the most responsible way to get this message across. I had a really big problem with how the kid acted.
The situation.
Yeah. And the thing is, I fully believe that teen of super young, maybe 13, 14, at most 15-year-old boy who feels a certain way about law enforcement, who teenagers are already fucking morons.
Yes.
And you can tell when he's talking to them that he idolizes them for what they did, but the whole time they're trying to
be like, no, don't be like us.
Yeah, like
don't do that.
Maybe they should have, in hindsight, of course, been more direct, but they're always trying to say, no, this isn't what you want. This isn't what your life should be. They always said,
like, it wasn't our fault. Like, you know, we didn't mean to do this. It just happened.
You know, I just had an issue with that scene. I feel like it hurts the movie in a way.
When he shot his fellow...
When he shot the officer in general.
Black officer.
Him doing that in general, regardless of... I just feel like it hurts the movie a bit. Like, if they wanted some kind of, you know, third act death to make you think that they'll live through everything that's going to happen,
I think you're right.
It could have been handled a different way.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say how that would have happened, but overall, I still really love the movie.
See, I thought the kid was going to just, like, get beaten up by the officers. You know, I didn't think he was going to pull out a gun and kill, you know, a fellow officer. And even the officer was like, kid, just, you know, go home.
Yeah.
And I think it was important for them to introduce the black officer as, you know, a colored person, because you know, he understands from both point of views. He's an officer himself, but he's also one of them, which is why I think he wanted to help out the kid and be like, just go home, you know?
Yeah.
This is it. Like, your fight. You don't want to do this.
Not in this way.
Not in this way. And then when he pulled out the gun, it was like, it was over. And when he shot it accidentally, because I'm pretty sure it was by accident, I think. Because he was surprised. I was like, oh my god, no.
And yeah, in prior scenes, the way he was talking, it's like he already chose what he was going to do. But, you know what? I kind of wish the movie had handled it differently.
Yeah. Overall, I wish they made it to Cuba. But, you know, not everyone gets a happy ending.
Yeah, I would 8 the movie. I would 9 it if a couple of scenes were just done a little different.
Oh, wait, can I talk about how the sex scene?
Oh, yeah.
I felt, okay, for me personally, I thought it was a weird scene to be put during the protest, but how you said, you know, life doesn't stop just because this is going on. I got that. I was not expecting for him to be sucking on her boob at one point.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, boobs, cool.
And they're like, oh, the boob went in the mouth. That's like leveled up.
I was like, oh,
it's
shit.
Like, oh, shit, he activated the KO CAD.
Sure. Whatever. I was not expecting that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna get way too sexed up. But,
yeah, but in times of high stress, they're always...
No, I know, they were, like, bound to, you know, hook up and stuff, especially after, just like you said, with this situation.
And especially it's a scene after they're both emotional, exhausted already, but, you know, they went to visit her mother's grave on the way there, so...
I was just not expecting the mouth with the titty. It was just unexpected.
Yeah.
But overall, would I see it again? I don't know.
Do you think it's a movie you could get your parents to watch?
I don't know. It's a tough call because my dad, when the movie's slow, your dad will he gets bored. And he'll be like, you know, like, what else is more? He'll get on his phone and, you know, I don't know. It needs to be, like, really cool, like, action-y type of thing. Not something like this, I believe.
Could you get him to watch The Grey?
Oh, like that, the plane scene?
Yeah, you'll have to skip that. But anyways, what would you give Queen and Slim?
I don't know. An 8.5.
Okay.
I think it would have been a 9 if, again, like, some scenes weren't, like you said, like the kid scene. 8.5 out of 10. You?
Yeah, 8. I would give it an 8.
An 8.
One of my favorite movies from last year. I would put it'd be in my top 10, but it would definitely be at like number 10.
Oh, okay.
I think.
So now The Grey.
Oh man, The Grey. Where are we? We're at the 40. This is probably gonna be an hour podcast, so that'll be fun for me to. So this is a movie I've been trying to get you to watch for probably a year now.
Okay, if you know anything about me, when someone tells me to do something, I normally will not do it because I don't want to give them the satisfaction of controlling me. And even also, I just don't like trying new things or like watching new things. I'm a weird person.
You're stuck in your ways.
I'm stuck in my ways, and this man, he will tell me, like, in advance. Huh?
You should try this. You should watch this.
Yes, but like in a year or 8 months advance.
Yes. Because
he knows 8 months to a year later, I will watch it. Okay? And I feel bad because you love me so much and I love you so much, but I'm stuck in my ways. I don't know. I try harder. So I was like, sure, let's watch The Grey, even though I was like, I don't know.
So at what point what was the point in the movie that you were interested?
Oh, the plane crashing. It's a big event. Oh, actiony. I was like, oh, damn. Or maybe when he shot the wolf that was about to attack one of the workers. When he was sniping.
The movie starts with that scene, and then they're at the like rowdy bar. People are fighting, and they have this scene where the way he is at the beginning of the movie is
he's very distant and like nonchalant and just doesn't want to be bothered. You can tell that you would not go and talk to this man because he would probably, you know, punch you or something. He just seems very intimidating and he wants to be left alone.
And he even has a scene in the beginning where he goes out almost to kill himself.
Yes, with
And
his sniper rifle, right?
it was just like a rifle, like a hunting
Oh,
rifle.
yeah.
And he ends up not doing it. He gets on the plane. The plane crashes,
Well,
and
before that, he meets this one annoying dude that
guy
sits next
chats a
to
lot.
him,
Yeah,
and he was like, "I just wanna, not talk and just, get through this plane ride." And the dude's like, "Okay," and then he goes to the back, and there's always that one guy who makes jokes of like, "Huh, would be, don't do this if the plane were to crash," and people get mad at him, like, "Don't say that," because some people are very what's the word? Like superstitious,
superstitious,
yeah, and
paranoid.
yeah, especially going on a plane and
That
stuff like
plane
that.
crashes, and then they're looking for survivors. One guy is kind of alive, but he bleeds out and dies on the inside of the plane.
Oh yeah, I cried during that part.
Yeah,
I teared up just because the situation,
yeah,
and he was trying so hard. He's like, "You're going to die."
yeah. It's like the coldest. Like, look, you're gonna die. This is what's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
he's like comforting
he's
him in
comforting
his
him,
last moments.
but he comforts him so well. He's like, "Just clear your mind and just you
He's
know
like, think of your
the
family or the
or the
person.
person you love the most." And I'm just like, "Oh my god." And he passes
And this
on.
movie came out also at a time where I feel like he should have gotten an Oscar nomination, but it came out so late in the year that it wouldn't have been counted for that year. But it is such a fantastic movie.
Oh yes, it's so good. And
And
then after they start looking for more people and more people start showing up, some are hurt. There
waking
was this
up
one
and
dude who was like cut in half. I was like, "Ooh, that dude was gone." And they start gathering resources. And again, there's always that one asshole who was like, "Who made you in charge?" and all this. And it's like, dude, can you just, work with the team? You
yeah,
guys are all that's left in the snow in the middle of nowhere. And they start like just getting supplies from people's luggage until the one asshole starts like, oh, I want to take this one dead dude's wallet just because it's made out of good leather or something.
yeah.
And they get into like a fight saying put it back because disrespectful.
And then very quickly they realize they are
Surrounded.
not alone out there when they see.
Yes.
Well, the first he sees the wolves eating a body,
Oh
and he
right.
tries to shoot away, and then he gets attacked, and everyone comes in and helps him.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure it was one of the flight attendant ladies that he saw,
Yeah.
and she was kind of like that, and then he realizes the wolf is eating on her, and he was like, "Don't worry, I'll get you," but then he gets attacked by the
Yeah, and
wolf.
then they're like, maybe we're near their den, and his job is to protect them while they're working out in the fields from them, so he knows a lot about them.
Yeah, they're like, "How do you know so much?"
And
And
yeah, they start gathering supplies and keeping watch, and they have that conversation where he's like, well, the guy's trying to act tough and say he's not afraid, and he's like, I'm afraid. You'd be stupid not to be afraid.
that was like further once they're out of
Oh, it
the
was. And then
airplane.
the first guy,
Okay,
oh
so
man,
after they make a fire and there's right there by the plane, um, the wolves come out, and they can hear them the growling and everything, and they told him don't move because he has a torch, and the wolves back away, and they're like, all right, so we must be near like their den or something. And he's like, we don't know if we're gonna be going near it or away from it. It's
yeah,
not possible to know. Um, then they decide to take what a 2 hour watch like per person
yeah,
while people go to sleep, and it's all fine. It's good. It's a very small fire. Like I would be so paranoid to be the only person on watch, especially with wolves out there. And the first guy, he's complaining about I think his kid at one point, saying how he wishes his kid was here to like charge something.
he was playing the Game Boy.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. And then he decides, to take a piss, which is totally fine, I think, but also kind of maybe not near wolves because, wolves are kind of territorial. And I wouldn't want to piss on their territory, especially when I don't have any supplies to defend myself. And he kind of ventures out a little bit away from the campfire. And as soon as he starts, peeing, boom, wolves come and they start just attacking him, and no one can hear him because he's getting mauled by a pack, and
Probably like 2 or 3 wolves.
Felt like a lot. But anyways, no one heard him until, the next day they woke up and the Liam Neeson's, he saw, and he was like, oh my god. And it was a bloody mess. And that's when they decide, okay, we need to get out of here. We need to start moving a different direction. So they start packing things up. And at that point, there's now, I believe, 7 of them left. And they start taking the wallets of the dead people on the plane crash, just in case if they ever make it, they can be remembered.
For posterity's sake, I'm gonna speed through some sections here, but
yes,
one by one they get picked off. One guy, he was walking a little too slow
because he had an injured leg,
and he just gets fucked up.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of feet of snow too that they were away from. Sorry.
I'm gonna edit that because you hit the thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Plus there's a snowstorm, so it's hard to hear, but he gets picked off. At that
like
point,
a few feet away. Yeah,
they get attacked again the following night, and that's when that conversation they have about being scared.
Oh, and then the alpha wolf comes down.
They see.
Because the one asshole and the Liam Neeson get into an argument because the big tough guy is trying to be a big tough guy, saying he's not scared.
No, not the alpha. The beta came out, or not the beta.
Omega. Before the Omega came out. Remember the alpha was there when he was on his legs and hands, and he was just like
that was the Omega.
I'm pretty sure it's the alpha because the alpha was a black
alpha
wolf.
Was much bigger.
But he was a black wolf.
No, that was the Omega because they don't meet the. They only hear the alpha that night because there was a dispute.
Well, Liam Neeson's like, the alpha was trying to test you.
Yeah, by setting out the Omega, they usually get sent in pack and wolf packs. They do that. They make them either eat last.
No, I know that. I'm saying the first time.
Yeah.
Not the second time. The second time he gets, they kill the dog, the Omega, and they skin him and they eat him, and then the one asshole rips off his head.
Yeah. And then they're howling, and they're like,
And it's like, oh, they were going to take revenge.
The one guy freezes to death.
Oh, the big guy. Yeah, he was the only one that was, like, coughing and just
he was. He probably was already sick, and...
Well, they said it was because of the altitude, that not everyone can handle the altitude, and I was like, oh, no, because I really liked him. And he was probably the one I would want to go if I were to die in a situation like that. Oh, yeah,
he easily got the best death.
He went to sleep, and he just never woke up and froze to death.
Man, what's next?
That's when they discovered that lumbers were here, and then they try to get to the other side, and at that point, there's only 4 of them left. And they try to, like, swing-ish by to the other side.
They're like, one guy jumps with the rope, and they make, like, a pulley, like a little zip line.
Yeah, there we go, zip line.
He falls through the trees.
This other guy with
and he's basically so like out of it from the fall that in his mind it's like his kid is by him, but he's getting
attacked and mauled and.
But at that point, he was probably so concussed that he didn't notice most of it.
Oh yeah, because he fell.
Yeah, he
hit the tree and the branches, and he was just.
He probably fell a good 15 feet through tree, like branches. Yeah. And then hit his head just flat on the ground.
I'm personally happy he didn't. It seemed like he didn't feel any pain.
And then when they were going to try to stop him, one guy hurt his ankle.
Dude. Yeah.
But at that point, he kind of apologized already prior to that.
After the Omega thing.
Yeah, that
And then after he hurts his knee, because he fucked up his knee during the fall when they were trying to rescue the one dude after falling off the tree. They traveled far. They found the river and
prior to that, though, they also have the great conversation about, and I don't even remember what they were talking about, but he brings up the poem, and I feel like the poem is
about the Frey.
It's written by the director.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, that poem is beautiful.
Let me look up the poem.
Anyways, during the entire movie, Liam Neeson, his character mentions this poem that he saw as a kid with his dad, and it's a really beautiful poem. I wish I knew it. I remembered it. He's looking it up right now, but it fits so well with the movie. Also, throughout the movie, he gets a lot of flashbacks of his wife, who we obviously know is dead. And
it's shown later on she died of probably cancer,
yeah.
some kind of medical complication.
And that's probably why he wanted to kill himself, because he didn't have anything else left to live for, really.
And he tells him the poem, but we'll say it once we get to the final scene, because that's like thematically the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah. So during this whole movie, he repeats this poem to himself sometimes when he's about to go to sleep, or just in his mind. They find this river, the three of them that are left, and they start following him. But then one of them is like, "I can't do it. I can't go on." And they're trying to convince him, like, "Come on, you made it through the plane crash, through all of this. You can do it."
I'm guessing his leg was broken at that point, or
it just, yeah. I mean, he was. They were all tired, really, and he really fucked up his leg after jumping down, and he was just done. And they eventually leave him there.
Yeah, he chooses to kind of just stay behind,
and then he was like, "I'm not afraid."
Yeah, because he knows what's coming.
What's gonna come? Yeah, because the wolves, they're following them. We don't ever see him die. It's just
that's the only outcome in that kind of scenario.
And now it's just the two of them left, and they're going along the river, and they hear the wolves coming after them, and they're like, "We need to start running." They start running. They get separated. One of them falls into the river, and it's just being like dragged throughout this river, and
because the wolves started chasing them.
Yeah, and then the Liam Neeson, like, he jumps in to the river to try to catch up to him, save him, and the one guy, he gets stuck by the big log.
His foot is like caught
between the two rocks, and he's just literally a couple inches underneath the water. Like, if he was just a little bit more up, he could breathe, but
it's a current. It's cold.
Yeah, and he has his
backpack
on. Like,
realistically, once he falls in there, that's a death sentence.
Yeah, and once Liam gets to him, he tries pulling him up, and he even tries giving him mouth to mouth for some air, but it's not working. And he's trying so hard to save him because it's just him. It's just them two now, but eventually the dude drowned. And then he just takes the backpack, because the backpack is full of all the wallets of everyone who died and just everything. And now he's all by himself, and he starts taking the wallets one by one out and just looking through them, all like the family members of the people who died, and just himself. And I was like, oh no.
And he has that moment where he's like pleading for like
to God,
some kind of miracle, to like, if anything were to happen, then now would be the time that,
like, to prove it to him.
Yeah, to show him after everything he's gone through. And he's walking a little more, and then
that's when he sits down and starts taking out the wallets.
Well, at that point he realizes he's basically at their den.
Yeah, because you see the other wolves coming to the side of him, and then the alpha from the very front on top. And I'm like, oh no, he's gonna have to fight them. And it's scary, because you're rooting for him to live, and it's just like, you don't know how, because he doesn't have his gun because it broke.
Yeah.
Through the plane wreckage.
And I love everything about these last few scenes, because it's shot in a way where you see the wolf slowly come to him, and then he accepts what is going to happen, and he just...
Oh, the alpha?
Yeah, and he starts preparing. He, like, gets electrical tape and, like, tapes the bottles in between his knuckles and breaks them. And he tapes the knife into his other hand. And he's, like, putting down the wallets and getting ready.
Basically, he's going to keep fighting until his very last breath.
Yeah, and it's, like, the decision. Same thing with the poem. Do you want to read the poem?
Sure.
You read that's the poem there. He tells them the first night, or the second night.
Basically repeated all through the movie, and this is the last time he says it, right before the alpha comes to him. Once more into the fray, into the last good fight I'll ever know. Live and die on this day. Live and die on this day. And it just tied the movie up so well.
From where he was in the beginning
to the very
to
end.
wanting to kill himself to, him taking
Matters
that
into his own
lesson,
turn.
and that lesson from his father's poem to heart, where this is it. That's all there was, and the last like 5 shots of the movie are just the camera's on him, and it like zooms down, and you see him like preparing, and it's just the movie ends where it's like him lunging at the wolf,
And yeah.
and then credits.
And then the credits roll. And I started crying because I was like, no, that's not it. He has to make it out. Because I wanted, him to make it free and the wallets to show everybody. And I was so sad and crying, and he was like, there's more to the movie.
Yeah, so for years, because for me, that movie's perfect. That ending, that's how it should be, because there is a post-credit scene.
In your opinion, you think ruins the movie?
Yes. Because it gives you an answer that you kind of already know.
You assume.
And you're like, well, but the post-credit scene is essentially where it's like a 3-second scene of you just see the wolf laying on its side.
Well, a bunch of wolves, but mostly the alpha.
Yeah, you see it's really only a shot of the alpha laying on its side and shallowly breathing, and you see like Liam Neeson's head on the wolf.
You do?
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, its head, like as if he was using the wolf as a pillow. You see his head, and that's the final shot.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
And in my opinion, I think the movie's so much better without that post-credit scene.
Yeah.
But it's just one of my favorite movies. I love that movie a lot.
It's so good. I would definitely watch it again. This one's a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't care.
I'll give it a 9.
You just hate everything.
It was such an emotional week for you. How many times did you cry?
I don't know. My
We
eyes
have The Grey, Queen and Slim.
I got Frozen 2 because I cried too.
Frozen
when
2.
Olaf was leaving.
Ford, Four Brothers.
Motherfuckers.
You cried in 5 out of 7 movies?
I cried on A Beautiful Day in a Neighborhood too.
Oh, did you?
I teared up. It wasn't like full on cry,
No.
but I did tear up.
It was like, oh, he's such a good
Queen
man.
and Slim.
Which was the hardest cry? The Grey?
Oh, I think so. The Grey. Well, man, I don't know. It's the time between Queen and Slim too because I did not like them dying.
I know.
Yeah, I cried. I'm a crybaby.
I know.
I hate that about myself.
But real quick on more recent events. I hope y'all being safe because
I knew you were
people are
gonna say
being fucking stupid. So, I mean, I feel like we kind of have to address it. It's a very
that. Yeah, it's just
people
what's
are
going on
fucking
around the
morons.
world.
I hope you're all being safe. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Fucking Clorox wipe some shit. Now's not the time to go to the club, to go to the orgy. Reschedule
Just
your event.
Stay home. I'm an
Stay
introvert.
home.
I like to stay home.
Watch a stream. Just it'll be a
Just be safe out
good
there,
time
guys.
dandy.
And I hope all of you are good.
I might stream.
You might stream.
I might play Marvel and stream if you want to talk to people about stuff.
I'm gonna eat food. I'm hungry.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. I'm gonna eat food and watch Project Runway.
Yeah. Maybe I'll stream after that. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope you're all being safe out there. And we're having a sale also. 10% off.
On magnets, stickers, and Pokemon ball bundles.
Yeah, but any last thoughts?
I can't wait to watch more movies that will make me cry.
Oh man, and I got some doozies saved.
You motherfucker. I know you do.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening.